Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again. Just before I start the video, I wanted to make a quick announcement. Watching these two seasons has been a nightmare. It has been completely terrible experience. I like to do it week by week. I like to really dissect things a lot more than I did like in the season 1 video. That was very, very held back because I wanted it to be a short video to get it out faster and just not have it be quote unquote rambling, because sometimes people complain about that. And it's like, the thing is about rambling is that it brings out the best stuff. If you're just reading from a script, you don't want to divert from that script and you don't want to try anything new or different. And so I like to do like a little bit of both, where I already have thought about some things I want to say and then I also ramble. Anyways, that was a ramble in and of itself. But watching these two seasons has not been fun. And I really want it to be, I don't want to do the show a disservice. I want to pay complete attention to the show. I want to give the show 100% of the attention that it deserves so that I can completely destroy it and completely annihilate it. Because these first two seasons, they're a complete mess. And that's saying from someone who really liked a lot of the episodes. It's still a mess. It's still a huge mess. There's so many things left to be desired, and I really want to give the show my full critique. And in order to do that, I wanted to start doing, instead of doing the stupid binging thing, I wanted to do where I would review these first two seasons, and then Safi would as well. Safi's still on season 1 because she doesn't really take it very seriously at all and doesn't really care. And so that's another issue, and why I can't meet the deadline. So I'm going to do it where I just finish these reviews, and then me and her are going to start at the same time, and we're going to watch seasons 3, 4, 5. We're going to watch the whole series with like an episode a day, or maybe 2 episodes if it's like a 2-parter. And I think that will bring better reviews. And then, of course, we will also do the movies. And we will still give Safi a punishment. Because I planned out a nice little punishment where, to tribute the Red Museum episode, I want Safi to eat a McRib. And I want her to also drink this alien slime drink that I found. And I thought we should really punish Safi for kind of like, disappointing us once again, because it's not just the viewers that she's disappointing, she's also disappointing me. And so she has to pay for her crimes against this channel. Just like with Mulder and Skulky, where Skulky, she really paid for things in season 2, and we'll talk about that now, because this is my review of the X-Files season 2. Wow. This show went from being okay, kinda, to being a huge mess. I mean, where do I even begin? I guess for starters, I really liked how they had consequences from the finale. A lot of these shows, they'll have a finale and then they'll just kind of pretend like the finale didn't happen. And a lot of the times nowadays, the finale serves as like a trailer for the next season. So to give you an example, Hell on Wheels, season 4, in that finale, it's basically just building up him to be going where he goes in the 5th season in the beginning. That's what the whole episode is about, just building that up. And it's like, that's not what finales are supposed to be. Finales should be a mix of like a huge grand story with consequences that carry over to the next season, and also like climactic moments. Like there shouldn't be this thing where we have the penultimate episode and then the finale is like a little fizzle out crap, but that's a separate video. That's a completely different video I could make where I could rant about that, because that is the current thing that happens with all finales, is that there's this new formula where they have a penultimate episode that's very action packed and very dangerous, and then the finale will be a boring little crap fest. And with X-Files season 1, the finale was pretty good, and the consequences carry over. And we start off on like a path to where it's like, how are they, when are they going to get back to being the X-Files? Like, they got shut down, so like how long is it going to take them to get back to that? And how long? And so we have like a couple of interesting episodes, and Skulky isn't his partner because his partner is this guy named Krychek, and he's a whole other side story because he's actually a bad guy, and his story, he's introduced for like 3 episodes, and then he just disappears, and then he reappears in the finale and doesn't even say anything, like he's the Terminator all of a sudden. Like, what a complete joke. That it was such a great storyline with him having this partner who, he doesn't know if he doesn't want to trust him because the fucking Deep Throat guy, that weak old geezer Deep Throat, he died, and he said, trust no one, idiot. Like, this guy who's been in this business for who knows how long, he only learns to not trust people on his dying breath. Like, what a pathetic excuse for Deep Throat. Like, what a complete piece of shit. What a trash agent. What a trash character. Trust no one. Ooh, that's really spooky. That's like something spooky Mulder would say, and like that's now his new motto. But it's funny because he rarely ever follows that motto in season 2, except when it comes to fucking Krychek. Like, it's so complicated. There's so much to talk about. It would take hours to really dissect like how bad this story has been written, like how bad this overall story is of these 2 agents, and they do the X-Files, and they're trying to find the truth. And it's like, yeah, you're trying to find the truth, but never really anything good happens. Like, in every single episode, they never really accomplish anything. They just kind of do something climactic at the end, and then it all goes to the waste. It all goes to the trash. They discover the truth, and then, oh, that never happened, boo-hoo. And it's like, this sucks. Like, how could you watch this show for 12 seasons? 11 seasons. What a complete, unsatisfying, trash show. I mean, when you watch a story, you want something satisfying. You don't just want this very, very mysterious, thrilling ride where nothing satisfying happens. Like, who wants to watch that? Do you want to watch that? I don't want to watch that. That's why I watch shows like Monk, because in Monk, he actually does his job and he fucking solves the crimes and catches the bad guys. But in the X-Files, you might as well forget about that. I mean, you don't get anything satisfying in the show, you just get shit. So, back to what I was saying. So you have this side story, which is probably one of the best side stories of the season, where he has a partner, and the partner turns out to be evil, and he's a very chilling, sort of cold person. Like, he's very cold, and so he's a great villain. And then he just disappears. He just fucking disappears. I mean, how unsatisfying is that? I mean, what? That should have been something that went through the whole season, having this partner who could or couldn't be evil. And then at the end, it turns out we know he's evil the whole time. And then at the end, they fight each other and one of them dies. Or then maybe in the finale, he disappears so that we can have something else completely unsatisfying. Maybe that could happen. And then there's this sort of plot with Mulder, and he's basically a flake at the beginning of the season who, he's sort of just doing his job because he has to, and he doesn't really enjoy it, and he's doing stupid surveillance, which that's another weird thing too, is it's one thing to shut down the X-Files and say, yeah, the X-Files is shut down. But it's another thing to put him in a job where he doesn't even do his job correctly. He doesn't do it good. He doesn't do it right. He's not fit for that job. It's like they're purposefully doing it to punish him. And it makes no sense because they should be at least putting him in a job where he fits there and he's solving cases and doing something like that. He shouldn't be doing a surveillance job. I mean, what a complete joke. And then there's this weird sort of plot where there's someone in the FBI who likes him, and his name is Skinner. And he's this he's a pinhead with glasses, and he's a nice guy. And, he's actually a fan of the X-Files. And at one point, it's this weird story where he's just randomly assigning these cases to Mulder, and then at one point he says, this one should have been an X-File. And it's like, yeah, no shit. Like, why would you say that out loud? Like, you're saying, like, the audience is suffering right now. We're watching this trash show where it's not Mulder and Scully, it's Mulder and his right hand. And with the De Silva girl from Child's Play 3 is a fucking vampire, and you got this fucking bald-headed prick talking about that should have been an X-File. It's like, fuck off, Baldy. Like, fuck off. Like, I don't want to hear that. That's pissing me off. That's just making me think, like, God, how long is this gonna take for you guys to reinstate the X-Files? You fucking half-wits? Like, I want to watch the X-Files. I don't want to watch the private adventures of David Duchovny walking around fucking chewing on sunflower seeds and calling Skulky up for some favors once in a while. Like, hey, Sculler, can you help me look up something on Facebook? Can you look up the suspect on Facebook and see if he lives near me currently? Like, that's the kind of shit that Sculpey is doing this season. And Skulky, the reason why I'm making fun of her, I'm just belittling her, is because if you thought she was bad in the first season, whoa! I mean, she gets way worse in the second season. Wow! In the second season, guess what happens? She gets taken hostage about 30 million times. Her life gets threatened 30 million times. She's basically the traditional love interest character, where you have a love interest and they get taken hostage a million times so that the hero can be like, no, don't kill Mary Jane. Wah! And so that's this whole season. It's, no. Sorry about that. No, don't kill Skulky. So that's the whole season with her. And otherwise, it's her getting beaten around and her getting like, ugh! Like in the show, he never really makes a noise when he gets punched. But whenever she gets punched or whenever she gets thrown around, she's always like, ugh, ugh, ugh. And it's really funny. And then she gets fucking abducted by aliens, and she's like on the verge of death. for an entire episode. Just that was like one of the worst episodes of the whole season, called One Breath. Oh, I mean, this whole episode is just her on a table, or her just lying there, and she's dying, and she's like, and she's literally not saying anything. She's got to have assisted breathing, and she's sitting on a fucking boat in a daydream or something, and it is just the worst thing I've ever seen. I mean, what a complete waste. We are watching this show to see Mulder and Scolby, and you can't even give us that. You have to give us this stupid story where she's unconscious the entire episode. We know she's gonna survive. Who do you think you're fooling here, Buster? Who do you think you're messing with? Same thing with the stupid finale, Anasazi. Ugh, that was the worst finale I've ever seen. I mean, it wasn't even an episode. It wasn't even a story. It was just a random collection of stuff. It was so confusing and so muddled and messy. Like, oh, here's the story about Mulder not having sleep. Here's the story about him being paranoid. Here's the story about this guy. Here's the story about that. Here's the story about that. And it all ends with him being inside this, like, underground spaceship. And then the spaceship gets blown up. And so you think, did Mulder die? Oh, I never will be able to figure that one out. So bad. Like, who in the hell thought that Mulder was gonna die? I mean, he already died like a million times this season. They had that one episode arc, the 2-episode arc where he almost dies in that one because he got infected by the alien bounty hunter's juices, and he was dying there. They had the Dead Calm episode where he's on the ship with Scolby, and they literally both die next to each other. They haven't even screwed yet because they can't do that. That's another thing too. Like, when are these two gonna hook up? I mean, come on. Are we gonna have to wait like fucking 6 seasons for them to hook up, like on Psych? Is that what this is? Are they never gonna hook up like Natalie and Monk? I mean, what kind of shit is that? I mean, these two, like, they're sitting next to each other and they die next to each other. I mean, it's so frustrating, these bad writing decisions. What kind of writing is that? So, God. And speaking of weak-ass writing, let's talk about weak-ass characters, Mulber and Tulkey. You got Mulber and Tulkey or I guess Fox. You got Fox and Dana, and they get thrown around like rag dolls. They are like human targets. They are like human punching bags for these bad guys to just kick around, shoot at. Fucking Scolby shoots up Mulder in the finale. She just shoots him. She's like, Mulder? I don't want to have to do this. Mulder? And she just shoots him anyway. Like, God, like, what a terrible partner. I would never ever want to be partners with Scolby again. I know her logic, but that was so stupid, and it was just played off like, oh, I shot you. That was really funny. It was a little gag. It's like, it's like a prank in a Jackass movie. I just shot you one time. It wasn't a big deal. I shot you in the shoulder, and nothing bad happens when you get shot in the shoulder. Like, what a complete fuck up. What a complete fuck up Scully is. I mean, these people, they can't get into any physical altercations whatsoever. They're that weak. You had in the cult episode, in what was that episode called? Meat Chaco Chicken one. That one was pretty good. I liked that one. You know, there were a lot of episodes that I liked specifically. Like, if you take these episodes out of a season and you look at them each individually, there's a lot of good ones. Like the host, the second episode, the one where Skinner has the nerve to tell the audience, this should have been an X-File. Like, fuck you. In the blood episode, I love that one. That was really, really good with the whole subliminal messaging. That was very relevant to real life, because that's what happens in real life. And then the colony episode, I love that one. There was one that was really good called the Kalasari, and that was a really good episode. I give that one like an A+. And I saw that got a lot of criticism for being not politically correct, because Romans aren't really like that. Like, fuck off. It's a great episode. It's like a tribute to The Exorcist. It was very creepy, and I really liked that one. I thought that one was good. And then the Freak Show episode, that was really good. That was in my top 3. I can't remember. See, this is the sad thing about doing reviews offhand, is that I legitimately can't remember what my favorite episodes are, because I don't have like these 25 titles right in front of me. So it's really hard to do this review and to be like, I don't even know what my favorite episode is. Like, maybe I should go look it up, or I should bring in Safi here to hear me swear the whole review. Which I'm not doing that on purpose. It just comes naturally when I'm talking about something bad. And this was really bad. I mean, you had the worst episode. Oh, fuck, I can't even remember the worst episode. Safi! Let's go investigate what's going on. So, this is an X-File right now. We don't know what Safi's doing. This is a very mysterious X-File. Let's see. Uh-oh, she disappeared upstairs. Okay, well, guess she went upstairs to find some magazines about fucking thrift shopping or some shit. So, let's look it up on the computer. Sorry about this, everyone, but I feel like it would be a bad review of a TV show if I didn't even mention what my favorite and least favorite episodes were. But yeah, I really don't like how they never solve anything. They never accomplish anything. Oh, okay. Yeah. They never accomplish anything. It just feels like it's just so unsatisfying. And that's a huge issue that I have, and why I don't like binge watching this, because if they don't accomplish anything, then that's them not accomplishing anything. For 9 hours, I mean, I watch 9 episodes a day. That's 9 whole hours of just sitting there seeing these two idiots running around investigating and never actually accomplishing anything. I mean, what a pathetic excuse for agents. What a couple of hacks these guys are. I mean, I wouldn't want to trust them with anything. I wouldn't want them to do anything, because they suck. They suck. They fucking ugh. So, my favorite episodes were obviously, this isn't going to surprise anyone, because people love these 2 episodes. The Dwayne Barry and the Ascension episode, the 2-episode Dwayne Barry arc. Those are my favorite episodes, by far. In fact, I would even say that those episodes could have been the finale of this season. And that was another frustrating thing, was they had episodes like that, and those episodes were so good, and yet they are literally, like, early on in the season. Like, they had another episode, the Colony and Endgame episodes. Those episodes were fantastic. They could have been the finale. But instead you had the shitty Anasazi episode, which I'm going to do a whole rant about that. But just looking back, the Dwayne Barry episode, the 2 episode thing, it was so good. Because in the first episode, it's like a hostage episode. It's a very intense episode, and it's very creepy and you really feel for this crazy guy, because you're wondering, like, is he really in this much pain? Is he not? Is he crazy? Like, it's really good. And then the second episode, you have the partner being this evil force in it, and it's really really intense. And then, of course, it ends on a very dark note where Scobie, she gets taken by aliens. And that is just completely, I mean, you talk about a finale. That would have been a very scary finale. And it would have fit, too, because in the first season finale, Mulder gets kidnapped by the bad guy and he almost gets killed. So wouldn't it be a nice parallel that in the second season finale, that Scobie, she gets taken forever by aliens? Like, that would have been really, really creepy. There was a really bad episode that was called the Firewalker episode, and that one was just really boring. Like, that one was so bad that I just zoned out and didn't even pay attention to it. Like, it was like, I didn't even care, honestly. Like, that's how stupid it was. And there were lots of episodes, too, that once again, they had the potential to be good, but they weren't, like Excelsis Die. In that one, you had this really interesting concept about this nursing home rape of a nurse, and it ended up being like a very confusing, stupid story where it was like magic mushrooms and shit, and it's really dumb. And then when I was a kid, I watched The X-Files, mostly season 2, because I would watch my favorite episode, which was Irresistible. As a kid, Irresistible was the one that I loved watching all the time when I rented it from the library. I thought that the villain in that was very, very scary, and he was real, and I thought that it was just a very action-packed episode, the way he keeps on killing, he keeps on doing evil things, and they're actually accomplishing something in this episode, because they get him, they get him at the end of the episode. That's very different, and it felt to me almost like Silence of the Lambs, but with the X-Files. So I really love that episode, and I just wanted to mention it because that was like a really good episode. Sorry about that. And then there was a really bad episode called Soft Light. And in that one, you actually have Monk, and he was playing this doctor who could spontaneously combust people with his shadow. And it was such an unsatisfying episode. I mean, nothing really happens. They just chase this guy around. Oh, we haven't even talked about Mr. X yet. Mr. Black Deep Throat, he is basically the black version of Deep Throat because they killed off Deep Throat. And so now it's like, we need a Deep Throat character or else all these episodes, nothing's going to happen even more. So they had this new character named Mr. X, and he's such a shitty agent. Once again, another shitty agent. He stumbles around. He's like he gets into all these physical altercations where he beats up fucking Skinner. He's fighting with him in an elevator, and he gets into a run-in with that other guy who had Scully's blood, and he got killed by Mr. X, and in this Soft Light episode, he makes like a villainous turn, and it really doesn't even make sense. So there was a lot of that stuff in this season, like these story choices that just did not make sense at all, and I really did not like that. I really didn't like his character. He never really does anything helpful at all. Like, he doesn't do anything to help anything, like, resolve. Everything is just left open to just who cares? It's all, nothing satisfying ever is going to happen. And, is he even going to come back after this season? Because, like, he I guess he's evil, so I don't know. And then I liked how they gave the smoking man some development, at least, because in the first season, he really didn't do anything at all. He didn't say anything. And in the second season, there's multiple sort of encounters with him, and I like that because his character, I was really confused by his whole purpose. And so I didn't like that. Just this season was not cohesive. It did not fit together at all. And it was really disappointing, the fact that that it wasn't better structured. It's such a bad structure. It's like they're just doing stuff. They're just improvising. They're just like, oh, let's do a vampire episode. Let's do a satanic episode. Let's do an elephant episode with like a fucking zoo person. And then the finale. Okay, and the Chaco Chicken one, Our Town, that was really good, even though it was pretty unsatisfying as well. So sorry, that's the end of me looking up names. But the finale was the worst one. The finale was completely scatterbrained, complete confusing, bad writing. I had no idea what was going on. Like, there were so many paths that the episode opened up. Like, they had this whole stupid story where his dad gets shot out of nowhere. And they had this whole thing about, oh, he's connected and he was the leader of a secret project. And it's like, this is all just coming out of nowhere. It's like, where the fuck did this come from, this unsatisfying shit story? So I really hated the finale. And then they had some stupid ass stuff with the Navajos, like where this Navajo woman, she could not even read her own language. Like, that was the stupidest shit that I've ever seen. All these stupid ass plot conveniences so that Mulber and Stolby can run around being confused while music plays, and they can have little witty banter with each other. It's like, fuck off. Like, and in fact, although this season has less C episodes than the first season, only 30% of this season's episodes are C rated, whereas the first season it was 33%. Well, the unfortunate thing is that if you count the D and F episodes, that equals up 40% of the season are C to F episodes. That is a bad combo. That is a bad deal to watch a show with that amount of C episodes. Wow. It really shows you that they put more effort into certain episodes than other ones. I really don't like that. I think that that's a really shitty thing to do because, I'm a huge fan of vampires, vampire movies, Dracula, and it would have been so cool to see a good vampire episode, and instead, you made this stupid episode where Mulder has sex with De Silver from Child's Play 3, and he meets her in a nightclub, and then he follows her out back and gets beaten up by her next victim. Like, what a stupid ass episode. What a stupid episode. That was so dumb. And just, it felt like such it's such a slap in the face that you have these creators. And that's why I'm going to stop binging, because I want to give more effort into these reviews by giving them the proper time and attention to digest them. Because, I'm not like these creators where I put more effort into certain things and then I just let other episodes be shit. Like that Firewalker episode. The Red Museum episode, that was trash. I mean, what even was that episode? Fucking rape cows, whatever? I mean, what was that? What was that one? That was stupid. So now I gotta rate this season in terms of food. And I'm gonna base my rating off of the Chaco Chicken episode, which I really liked that episode. That was a pretty good episode. And it was unfortunate that it couldn't have been better, because that's another thing, is that there's a lot of episodes where characters are not in the show. And I do not understand why you would do that, because it creates a feeling of distrust and discombobulation. In the Monk series, they can't even have a character not be there unless they explain it. Or they just, it's a rare occasion. Like Buffalo Bill, he's in Monk, and he's only off of the show for like 2 episodes. And it is very noticeable. Now, just imagine if in Monk they had Captain Leland. They had him be missing for like 12,000 episodes. Just imagine the riots that would ensue. The San Francisco Monk riots of 2005. Just imagine that, how terrifying that would be. I would be there. Monk himself would be there. Sharona would be there, fucking begging people for money in exchange for you-know-what. Fucking terrifying shit. But with the X-Files, it's basically like accepted that you cannot have Skinner in an episode. And you cannot have Scully in an episode. Like, what? That really pisses me off. So, as I said, I am basing my rating off of the Chaco Chicken episode, Our Town. I just started going to Raising Cane's this year. If you guys watched my movie, Super Dumbasses, for free on YouTube, in the part where I go to the playgrounds, like the 3 playgrounds in a row, that was the day where I had Raising Cane's for the first time. And I really, really loved it. And I started going there, and then guess what happened? It got bad. It got really bad. And there was this one specific time, and it's the last time that I've ever been there. I haven't gone there since, for like 2 or 3 months. That's how bad it was. And that is this season. So when I went there, I usually get a Caniac combo or a box combo, usually, honestly. Sometimes I'll get a Caniac one because I know that dinner will be like a like a lighter dinner. But usually I get the box combo. And this one time I did, and I'm telling you guys, the chicken was not cooked all the way. The batter on the chicken nuggets was soggy and wet. The chicken was gross. It had bones in it. It had like these jelly parts that like you couldn't even chew it. It was like gel, goo, gummy shit. It was so Sorry, I'm legitimately thinking about it makes me want to throw up. For real. That's how gross it was. And they didn't even give me any sauce. No sauce, no ketchup, no nothing. And I asked for sauce too. I said, "Give me some sauce, bitch." And she said, "Okay." Didn't get any, of course. Fucking fast food workers. No, I'm just kidding about them. But that really did piss me off. It really pisses me off, like, when you can't even get the orders right. Like, with Wendy's, we go there all the time, and we ask for a medium frosty, and there's this one bitch there, and she legitimately gives us a small frosty every single time. And it's like, are you deaf? Are you deaf? Like, seriously, like, what the fuck? You can't, like, it's small versus medium in sizes. So I was really pissed off. No sauce for these soggy, gross-ass nuggets. That's not even the worst part. The fries were small and cold and crispy. and they were gross, and they were inedible, and they were very unsatisfactory. The chicken is Mulder, and the fries are Scooby. Dana. Scooby. And then the coleslaw. Usually, it's a very nice way to have some vegetables. Yeah, I'm having some vegetables with the coleslaw. It's really nice and light and good. Well, this time, it tasted like it was left out for 5 years. It tasted sour and gross and ugh. It tasted expired. And that is Mr. X. And then the bun. Oh, you want to talk about the biscuit, the toast, the Texas toast. It had a thumbprint in it. So I didn't even eat it. And then guess what happened after that? I tore off the piece where it didn't have the thumbprint in it. And guess what happened then? A fly got on it. Damn it. I had to throw it all away. What kind of shit is that? You know what that is? That's the writers. Because the writers, they can't ever write anything satisfying. Nothing satisfying can happen on the X-Files. I guess the only satisfying thing was that it ended and I don't have to binge it ever again. And honestly, I just want to forget that it ever existed because it was so bad. It was so unsatisfying when you look at it as a whole. Like when you take apart the episodes, you can say, oh, there are these good episodes, you can take them out and just pretend the other ones don't exist. That makes it good. But when you look at it as a whole, it's terrible. It's awful. It's really bad. And it's hard to see how it got 12, 11 seasons, 2 movies. What the fuck? And is that it? Is that all that you get in the quote meal? Yeah, it is. And so that's what I rate this season. A box combo from Raising Cane's where they didn't even cook the chicken. Fries were gross. Coleslaw was gross. Texas toast was gross. That is my review of the X-Files Season 2. The supposedly perfect show. It's amazing. Oh, did you see the X-Files? It was amazing. It's like, really? Let's take a look at that. Let's take a closer look. Let's take a look at this as a whole. Let's look at the X-Files Season 2. Because you know what? I would say Season 1 is better than Season 2. It has a better finale. Deep Throat is better than Mr. X, by far, even though they're both trash. There's not as much inconsistency. It's much more consistent in terms of... It's more consistently enjoyable instead of like you have these really great episodes, then you have these really shitty ones. And the characters are much better. In the second season, they basically destroy both characters. Like, there's no liking either of these characters ever again. I'm basically only watching this show because I like episodes individually and not the show as a whole. I guess Skinner is kind of likable, but at the same time, he didn't really get a fleshed out character at all. He got this very, very sort of minimal cardboard cutout character. He's a fan of theirs. He's basically a representation of the audience, and I don't like being represented by Mr. Skinner. Sorry. And oh yeah, and I really do. I can't remember if they were introduced in this season or not, but I really like the lone gunman group of people. I think that they're really, really good side characters, and so I can't wait to see more of them. I kind of wish that they would be more involved with the show because they're actually like better characters than Mulder and Scooby combined. Because they, there are certain times they don't even want to fuck with what's going on. When you have these two idiots and they're just like completely running around like the Three Stooges, eating and choking on sunflower seeds and talking about like their little witty banter, science versus conspiracy bullshit. You have this group of people, and they're actually smarter than the main two characters. So this has been a really long review, and I'm glad because it really gave me the chance to destroy this season. Because I was very unhappy by that finale. Very, very unhappy. So please like this video if you liked it. Comment, tell me about your intimate thoughts about Season 2 of the X-Files, aka the Three Stooges files. And then please subscribe to our channel for more reviews of the upcoming... please subscribe to our channel for the upcoming reviews of the future seasons, if that makes sense. Seasons 3 through 11 in the 2 movies. And be sure to stay tuned to see Safi get punished for, being an X-File in and of herself. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.